today we have a tale of 3 loadstars, and this video is actually due to a suggestion from a viewer that watched my last mod video, Michael Scott. So Michael, if you're watching, man, thank you, I appreciate it. That was a great idea. He said that someone should make a video of all 3 of the loadstars now, so I thought that was a good idea, and that's what I'm doing now. So what we're going to do is we're going to test all 3 of these and see which ones come out as the best. Now, I will say, this first one here with the deluxe skin, this is the vanilla base game version Lodestar. The gold one is the IHC, and the big boy over there, that's the JBE. Now, the only real difference that I can see between the IHC and the vanilla is that they have a different suspension on that one, and they have more tire options. They don't have the OP options that the JBE has. They're pretty much all in-game tires, so it'll be interesting to see how it does. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring all 3 of these trucks over to the mud pit, and we're going to start on the second mud pit. You know what? No, you know what? We'll start at the first one. So we're gonna get this set up, and we'll be back over there. Alright, here we are at the first mud pit. This is the base game version of the JBE. Now I will say that I have all 3 of these trucks with the best of what their customizations have to offer. Okay, so I didn't go with the same engines in all of them. I went with the best that you could have to offer on all of them. So of course the JBE is going to be a little different, but you know, I feel like that's the best way to test it because they all have some different parts except for this one, the IHC. So this is the vanilla game one with the best of everything, and let's see how it handles this mud. We're going to leave it in auto first, and we will shift it as needed. Again, this is the lightest of the mud. Now, I don't know if this is the mud or these damn trees. I don't know why these trees are here, actually. Okay, so this isn't moving at all. So this is the base game version of the truck, and this is actually my issue with this truck is it's really kind of horrible. I mean, this is not the thickest mud, and it is struggling. It is really having a difficult time getting through this. With as hard as it is to get through this here, there's no way in hell I am going to try this in the next mud pit over. Okay, so the vanilla base version game of the Lodestar. It's a fail. That is a fail. Lodestar number 2. This is the IHC Lodestar. Again, this has a little bit different suspension. It's got different tires. Other than that, it's got the same engine, and it's got the same transmission as well. So let's see how this one does. So this one seems to be bogging down in the same spot, but this is coming out of it. So actually, you know what? I think this does have a different transmission in this one. Now we're in auto, so let's put it in low and see if it pulls us along any better. and it does. So I would say the transmission in the IHC is much better than the transmission in the base game version of the Loadstar. And I'm thinking that this is going to go on to test number 2. This is going to go on to the next mud pit. Alright, so see, I actually learned something. Now, I should say, you know, I've always said this, the tires have such a huge impact on this game, and these are different tires than the base game version has, so also keep that in mind. But here we go for the second mud pit. And we're still in auto, so you have to keep that in mind. And I mean, it's pushing through an auto. It's not doing too bad. So let's put it in low and see what happens. Alright. I don't feel like it's doing any better in low gear. It is pushing through. It's pushing through slowly, but it is doing it. And there's no way that the base game Loadstar would have been able to get through this mud pit. Test number 2, I would say is a success. So let's bring it on over to the third mud pit and see how it does there. I'm sure that it's going to take a long time to get out of there, but you know what? I'm kind of confident that it's going to do it. So yeah, we'll set it up, try to get it going pretty decent here as we hit it. Now, I knew this was going to definitely be... see, again, I feel that these trees are what's... Yeah, these trees are really what's slowing it up right now. It's not so much the mud, it's them damn trees. Okay, so just as I suspected, it's really struggling in this mud pit. Alright, so I'm going to call this one a fail, but it got through the first 2, and it just didn't have what it takes to get through the third mud pit. But, still a lot better than the base game Loadstar. Alright, so now we have the JBE Loadstar, and if the other 2 are like production models, this is like a souped up custom that someone did in their garage and really made it beefy. So this has stronger engine, stronger transmission, better tires, studded tires. You know, the all-wheel drive, you can turn it on or turn it off, so we're going to turn it on, and I'm pretty sure this is going to have no problems at all. So this is the first mud pit. Put it in low in it. Pulls right out fairly easily. So mud pit 1, success. Here we go for mud pit 2. We're in first gear, but we're still in auto, so keep that in mind. Let's see if putting it in low gives us any better. And it does. Putting it low, actually, you can see that it pulls us along better. The low gear in this one actually feels like it does give a little more torque. So that's a plus. So again, the JBE isn't going to have any issues getting out of the second mud pit. On to the third one. So again, it was in 5th gear. It wouldn't shift down. And you definitely have to shift into 1st gear to get to the mud. So it's slowing it down. It's not slowing it down to the point where it's stopping it though. And we're still in auto. It's going through this really thick mud, still in auto. So let's shift down to low. And again, it's showing that it's giving us a little bit more torque. And it's actually pulling us along a little bit better. Now again, we're by far from speeding through this, but this truck is a lot more capable than the first two. Alright, there you have it. All 3 mud pits with the JBE modded loadstar passed. No problem at all. So now let's take these 3 trucks over to the snow and see how they do in the snow. So again, we're going to start with the vanilla base game version of the loadstar and see how this does. And this is the easiest of the 2 snow tests. So again, it's an auto, and it's actually pushing through. So let's put it in low and see what happens. Now see, with this truck, putting in a low gear, it just feels like it just makes it slower. You don't feel any more torque or anything. It just slows it down, and again, on the first test, we're already stuck. It looks like we're moving ever so slowly. So the question is this how you want to move through the map? Again, base game version of this truck in the snow, it just completely fails. Okay, next up is the IHC loadstar. Now this outperformed the vanilla one in the mud. Let's see if it outperforms it in the snow. So we can kind of see where we got stuck with the last one. If we can get past there, we'll be doing alright. We're definitely going to get past there. Let's put it in low and see what happens. And again, this transmission feels a little better than the base game version. Alright, snow test 1. A success. Let's see what this can do with some heavier snow, though. This is where I'm thinking it's probably going to get bogged down. Surprisingly, so far it's not doing that bad. Now we're getting into the deeper stuff, though. But we're still in automatic. Okay, so the low gear doesn't seem to be helping as much in this really heavy snow as it did over there. Yep, this is going to have a hard time getting out of this. But for the sake of testing, we're going to press on, and much like I did in the mud, I will just fast forward it unless it gets stuck where it won't move anymore. Then that's where we'll call it a fail. Okay, that didn't take long at all, and we are stuck. So, for the second snow test, for the IHC, that is a fail. So now it's time for the JBE. So let's check this out. And the not so deep snow first. And again, it's an auto. So let's drop it down to low and see what happens. Interesting. Now again, even in this one, it doesn't seem to give you the torque that it does in the mud. So now I'm kind of rethinking things here, because I felt that the snow was really similar to the mud physics, but now I'm kind of rethinking it that I'm testing it like this, because the low gear definitely helped pull this truck more in the mud than it is in the snow. But that test has passed. Now the big test, the deep snow here. Now, this is kind of what I was talking about in my video of things that I would like to see improved and added. You can clearly see that this is the path that we've already compacted down. So unless there's a lot of heavy slush underneath here, this path here should be pretty easy to get through. But it's not. It's just like if I went through the fresh snow next to us here. Alright, let's drop it down to low. Yeah, again. In the snow, the low gear doesn't seem to do as much as it did in the mud. Very interesting. I should say, as a side note, both the IHC and the vanilla truck, I towed out of the snow with the JBE. So if that's kind of any indication of how good the JBE loadstar is, then yeah. Alright, so here we come out of the thick snow. We can put it back in auto. And that is a pass. So far, the JBE has passed all of the tests. The IHC passed the first 2 mud tests and 1 snow test. And the base game loadstar has failed miserably. So there's really nothing more to test with these trucks. I mean, pulling power and stuff like that. The IHC in the base game, they got the same engines. This one has a bigger engine, so of course this is going to be more powerful. But let's go in the store and we'll return each and every one of these, and I'll show you guys what I have them equipped with. Alright, starting with the vanilla game, the vanilla version International Loadstar 1700. We have the SI6V 2100T engine. We have the off-road gearbox, raised suspension. For tires, I have the 41-inch UAD 3 all chains. And this stuff here is just really not important. The autonomous scout, the short round cap, and pickup bed. So that's the vanilla version. So now let's take a look at what I have on the IHC. Okay, IHC Loadstar 1700. Let's see here. So again, same engine, the SI6V 2100T gearbox. They have a balanced high range off-road, so still it's got the same gearbox as the vanilla version. Odd, because the gearbox on this one feels better. Suspension. So I have the single slot cargo on here, and you have the Scout and the stock. I'm sorry, and the Scout tuned. So this has different suspensions than the vanilla version. Tires, I have 42-inch medium double chains all. And again, autonomous scout, short round cap, and the loadstar pickup bed. And this one outperforms the base version hands down. I mean, is it great? I wouldn't say it's great, but it definitely outperforms the base version. So now let's take a look at the JBE. Okay, so again, guys, the JBE is like a custom version of the Loadstar. So for the engine, you know, it doesn't have any of the base game engines for this. So I got the V8 2700T engine in there. Gearbox, again, we have balanced high range and off-road, and we have the JBE transmission, which that's what I have in this one. Suspension is the JBE raised, and you have the active stock raised and the flex suspension. Tires, I have the 51-inch quasi double studded mud tires, and there's a ton of tires options that you can get with this. And you know, I'm not going to go through all those because it would take forever. The winch, autonomous plus for this one, that's a custom one that JBE put on there. You can put a spare wheel on this, although I don't think you can with. Yeah, you can't with the cab on. Oh, wait a minute. Supply and spare wheel? Yeah, you can't with the cab on. The box, I mean. Snorkel. This has different options. This has tall front facing, a second tall front facing, and then the short round cap. And their frame add-ons, this has a lot more. This has a flatbed, small sideboard. It's got the Bandit crane, in-cab supplies, small roof rack, a roof rack, pickup bed. I believe this is the Ford F750 pickup bed. custom pickup bed, the maintainer, metal detector, loading crane, another loading crane. We have the pickup chassis, a service cab, and a small fuel carrier. So, my final verdict, guys, is that the vanilla loadstar is kind of junk. I knew that when I first got it. I love the look of this truck. You know, it's got that. It's an old truck, and I love that. And I had such high hopes for the loadstar when I first seen it, and then when I tried it, it was just a big disappointment. The IHC is a lot better than the base game loadstar. Again, I wouldn't say it's the best, but it definitely outperforms the base game. But if you want a loadstar that's going to pretty much handle anything you throw at it, the JBE Loadstar 1700 is definitely the mod that you're going to want to use. I'm actually using this in my playthrough right now. I'm in Alaska, and I think like 2 or 3 videos prior in my episodes, I actually used this to check out Pedro Bay, and it's a beast, man. It really is. The JBE modded one is a beast. That being said, that is where we're going to end this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And again, experiment with the tires, because on the JBE, there are a ton of tires. Again, these may not even be the best tires for the truck, but these are the studded ones. I needed that because I was on the snow map. If you're going to a mud map, the mud tires are a lot different, and they're actually a lot better, so keep that in mind. Alright, so you know what to do, guys. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Subscribe. And I know a lot of you aren't subscribed. Like, I see in the analytics all the time that most of the views that I get are from people who aren't subscribed. So, like, what do you got to lose? You know, you're watching my videos anyway, so you might as well give me a subscribe. If you don't like it later on, just unsubscribe. It's not a big deal. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, morning, afternoon, night, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are in the world. And we will see you next time.